Hi, welcome to Senior Moments Successful Aging. I'm your host, Mary Beals-Luedtka. I'm the director for the Area Agency on Aging, NACOG, and you can reach us toll free at 877-521-3500. Senior Moments Successful Aging is sponsored by the Area Agency on Aging, NACOG, and also by the Division of Lifelong Learning at Yavapai College. Our producer from Yavapai College is Danny Tomerlin, and she does all that behind the scene work, and you can reach her at 717-7755. And Danny would love to hear from you. Maybe you have suggestions about shows you'd like to hear, subjects you'd like to hear about in the future, or you have a question about today's show. So just give Danny a call, 717-7755. Again, welcome to Senior Moment. And our guest today is our Assistant Director for the Area Agency on Aging, Nicole Kiddoo. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How
Good.
are you?
Well, obviously we know each other very well because Nicole is my right-hand man and we work together very closely, but it's nice to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So a little bit about your background, Nicole.
Yes, ma'am. So I have been the Assistant Director for the last 4 years for the Area Agency on Aging. I have also started with the Area Agency on Aging over 7 years ago. I help support the administrative and operational functions, and I am the conference chair for the 2017 conference.
And that's what we're here to talk about.
Yes.
So we've been doing conferences for a long time. So what is the conference?
So the conference is an opportunity to bring in professionals and people from all over the country to really network, collaborate, and talk about aging issues and opportunities.
So, and which conference is this going to be? How many years have you been doing it?
This is the 25th year we have been doing this conference.
And I asked that a little facetiously because I started it.
Yes, you did.
In 1991. I can't believe it. Where did 25, and we didn't have one last year because we had the state summit on
Correct.
aging. So it's been actually over 25, but 25 conferences. So it started out as an elder abuse conference, rolled into elder issues, but it's taken another twist. So I want to talk about that with you. You are the conference chair. You're the one really putting it all together and doing a fabulous job, by the way.
Thank you.
So what are you going to focus on this time?
Well, this year we're going to focus on building strong communities and really bringing a cadre of wonderful speakers together, looking at opportunities for us not only to talk about aging issues, but also what it's like to age in communities and what else we could be doing to support our constituents. And we're also doing some different trending things, talking about not only health and wellness for the aging component, but also just in general as our communities come together and talk about leadership, trends, health and wellness, and the building strong communities component.
Well, and I think, I'm glad you've taken this, and we have taken this turn, because the demographics are here. Our country's aging, the world is aging, and I often find that when I talk about aging, community leaders just kind of shut down. They want to talk about roads, they want to talk about planning, but it all ties together.
Yes, it does. And that's one of the amazing things that I think this year we're focusing on, and it's bringing different people together, like I said, not just in the aging field, but livable communities or dementia-friendly communities, bringing in the paramedicine component, fire departments, police departments, all of those things that help us support our communities and continue to build our communities.
And when you talk about livable communities, that's not necessarily just about aging.
Correct. Yes. It's bringing everybody together to support all the constituents of the community, whether it's young people, middle-aged people, different demographics, just everybody that's supporting and living in those communities.
Yeah, because we all need the same things. We need walkable, we need transportation, we need employment.
We do.
And I think folks would be surprised how many 70, 75-year-olds folks are looking for employment, some because they have to and they don't have enough money to exist, but some of them because they're bored. I need something new to do.
Yep, exactly.
We're living longer.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are living longer. So the theme is building strong communities.
Yes.
So it's really not an aging issue or aging issues per se. It's about the whole community.
Yes, it is.
So let's talk about some of the speakers that you're going to bring in.
Well, exciting. One of the key components to our conference is trying to bring in speakers from all over the country, also locally and statewide, because some of the local community professionals can't always get out to some of these big national conferences. So we take pride in bringing in wonderful speakers. But one of the ones that we're excited about and who's been part of the Aging Network and part of my leadership piece is Doug Krug, and he's wonderful. He's going to really set the stage for the conference. He's our keynote speaker, opening keynote speaker, and he's going to set the stage for the leadership piece, which is one of the things that we think is the foundation of a strong community. So he's going to be with us. We're also going to bring in Mark Middleton, who is the founder and CEO of Growing Boulder, and he is an award-winning reporter.
And he's an Emmy. He has an Emmy.
Yes,
yeah.
He does. And he's going to bring us to the next level in talking about aging issues and initiatives.
And you can go on is it .com or .org?
.com, I believe.
.com,
yes.
growingboulder.com, and I encourage our listeners to check him out because, to have him at this conference is a huge coup for Northern Arizona.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. I'm very excited.
Yes.
It's, what does he say? Growing bolder, not older?
Yes.
Yeah, or grow bolder as you grow older, because we do grow older.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
And that's part of the process.
Yes.
So.
So that'll be exciting to have
Yeah.
him. We're also bringing in Bob Luncato, who is a dear friend of ours and yours, and he has a wonderful background. He is the executive director of NANASP, the National Elder Justice Coordinator. The list goes on and on. Board of Director, Chair for American Society on Aging. So he's going to bring in a different component there. And our wonderful Dennis Garvey,
Yes.
who will be with us as well, gerontologist, author, speaker, and the Dean of Yavapai College of Lifelong Learning.
And Dennis will be the closing keynote.
Yes, he will.
And that'll be great because Dennis is funny.
I'm excited for that.
So it'll be a nice way to kind of wrap up. Well, how long is the conference? What are the days?
Okay,
We didn't get to that, and then we'll go back to the speakers.
That's true.
I digress.
That's okay. So we are doing something new this year, and I'm really excited about having a 2-day conference, actually a day-and-a-half conference. Normally our conferences are 1 day, but we thought with this big of a component with the leadership and the building strong communities that we would really like to put our efforts in bringing everybody together a little bit longer. So it will be a day-and-a-half, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
So the first day will be panels, where we have a Building Strong Communities panel, and then we'll also have a leadership panel, and we'll close the day out with a wonderful reception,
Receptions are always fun.
and that'll be exciting.
But not to leave out, we do start with Doug Krug.
We do start with Doug Krug,
Yeah,
so
on the
he
first
will get us going, and I'm really excited for that.
I am too.
The next day will be breakout sessions, and then a couple of keynote speakers as well.
So we'll have Mark in the morning of the second day,
Yes.
and then Dennis Garvey will wrap it up. And I know that from past conferences, a lot of folks have said, you're just cramming too much stuff in one day.
Yeah.
And so we're answering that. We read those evaluations every year. And so hopefully that is something that folks will flock to. I mean, last time we sold out. So,
Yes.
here we are in August. So, if you're interested in going to the conference, you really need to hop on our website. And the website is?
It's regonline.com/building strong communities.
Okay, and we'll run that so that you can find that, and you can always call the toll-free number that I gave you earlier, 877-521-3500, because we want to make sure you have a seat at that conference. I think another important thing about it is there's CEUs available, continuing education credits.
Yes. So we'll be looking into that. Normally it's about 8 to 12 CEU credits, and we that's for additional professional education. We partner with Northern Arizona Health to help support those continuing education credits, also with AZ Post as well.
For law enforcement. So the CEUs, it can be from anything from a doctor, a social worker, a nurse, administrator for a nursing home,
Yes.
a licensed assisted living manager. All of them can get CEUs to come, and it's no extra cost. It's all encompassed in the registration.
Correct.
So, and the other thing about it is, we really want to thank our sponsors, because we don't take money out of our budget to present this. And it's really important to, number one, right now I'd like to thank AARP, huge sponsor for this. United Health is one of our sponsors. We also have Grand Canyon University on board, and many others. And you can see those when you go on the website. You can see all the sponsors and what they're doing to support this programming.
Yes, very much.
And I'm very excited. So back to the speakers.
Yes.
We had to hit on the logistics that I forgot about. I got all excited. So we talked about Mark Middleton, but what are some of the other speakers that are coming in, not only for breakouts, but for the panels?
So we also have NACOG's Executive Director, Chris Fetzer, who will be sitting on our leadership panel and having that local flair of leadership. So we're trying to encompass a national perspective, a state perspective, a local perspective, and who better than our own NACOG Executive Director, Chris Fetzer. So he'll be providing some leadership components from his perspective, and I'm really excited to have him. We also, let's see, who
we
else
have
are we
Bob's
having?
going to be on that. Bob Lancada is going to be on
Yes, he
that.
is.
And then we have, and actually I'm chairing the speaker committee, so it's not her fault. She doesn't. I have it more on the top of my head. So we also have Dana Kennedy, who is the CEO for the state AARP office. Just this last year, she won Businesswoman of the Year in Phoenix. She truly is a leader. She's a leader nationally, not only in AARP, but aging in general. She used to work really closely with the area agency. So she'll also be in that panel. And I think that's where we're at on that one.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the Building Strong Communities, we're working with Vitalist Health and the Urban League Institute.
Yes.
I can say ULI, but I keep forgetting. And that really hopefully will bring in those planners and people that are worried, thinking about. But I also think this is appropriate to active adults who are interested in aging and interested in being involved in their communities.
Absolutely. And advocates are so important for that piece. And, we're not just looking at all the, caregivers, the people that support their family or the community. So we're looking for any advocates that are looking to support aging initiatives, all the trends, to understand what the demographics are for this population and how the younger populations affect these populations. So we are going to talk a little bit more about statistics and data and tie all of that in as well. But yes, we are looking for advocates for.
And we're actually going to have a training from Steve Jennings from AARP on how to be an advocate. I've gone through his training. It's bipartisan, but it talks about tips and tricks to being a good advocate. What are some strategies when you're being an advocate from, just a citizen to a professional, and how do you get involved with what's going on? And right now with the current administration and where we are in our country and where we are statewide, we need advocates to understand the demographics, like you said, and understand your voice counts. Your voice counts. And we need voices to speak up and say, don't take away the meals from seniors.
Yes.
Don't balance the budget on the back of vulnerable populations, both children and seniors. All are vulnerable, our disability population. And so that's a great training I'm excited about too.
Yes, absolutely. And I think also the nurturing of our network and bringing everybody together so that we can collaborate, partner, and that's another reason why we wanted the day and a half, so that we actually had time to sit down in a corner and talk about some of the things we just learned in a breakout session, or how dynamic the leadership component and how important that is. So, having more opportunities and not rushing around, 10 minutes to get here or 10 minutes to get there, which is great, but also being able to take those 2 days for, I don't want to say respite, but just for us to take a break and to really get together with our colleagues and talk about these issues.
If you for those of you listening, if you haven't been to this caliber of a conference, they're inspiring, and they're meant to be inspiring. They're meant to re-energize you with the issues at hand, give you tools that you can use for your personal self and also for your career and your advocacy with seniors. And so I always am renewed when I come away and hear all these speakers and learn from them. I'm like jazzed when I get back to the office, like, oh gosh, here we go.
And that's what we want. Absolutely.
It's like when you come back from a national conference, it's like, okay, how many ideas did Nicole have?
And I think that that's one of the most important things is that having a very meaningful and impactful experience. And our goal, one of our goals, is to have you come back to your local communities and really be able to utilize the information that you learned and bring that back to those clients, constituents, or whomever you serve. And I think that's really important.
It is very important. We also have brain health coming on
do.
board. And one of our own, I call him my own because we've interviewed him on Senior Moment, but Gary Glasner is coming back. And when we interviewed Gary Glasner on Senior Moment, he really interviewed me. I mean, he had me in the palm of his hand. And he does creative aging stuff. Can't wait.
I love that. I'm really excited.
I cannot wait. He's so engaging. And, you know, that's kind of a trend. That'll be in the trends track. We also have Jan Dougherty from Tempe coming. And Jan Dougherty is in charge of the Tempe's Dementia Friendly City project.
Right.
And we're now on a committee together. James Fitzpatrick is on. He's also been on the show. Myself, Jan Dougherty, working with Arizona as a whole to be more dementia friendly. So what we're going to offer at the conference is if you go to her breakout, she'll be on the panel, but her breakout, you can actually do the little training, the 30-minute training, and be a dementia friend. And it's really about awareness.
Exactly. And that's another key component is the awareness. But, you know, to that point is those are components of communities that we really need to be focusing on, or at least bringing out into the light of, you know, what it really takes, or where are people at in that development of their communities. Maybe we're just starting. Maybe we're a little bit farther than the others, but bringing everybody together so that we can kind of network and partner and understand, you know, what it really takes to build communities.
And I think it's important for the small communities that often say, oh, we can't do that, we're too small. There's some simple little things you can do, and those tools will be at the conference.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't have to be a big city. We don't have any big cities anyway.
Right.
You know, I guess Flagstaff and the Prescott Quad City area are big cities, but nothing like, you know, Tucson or Phoenix or other places around the country. But you can do some of these things to make it more dementia friendly, more age friendly. And when we say age friendly, that's every age.
Correct.
From babies to the end of our life.
Yes. And the rural factor is, you know, so important that we're kind of bringing trends and initiatives to other parts of our communities that may need a little bit more support, as you had mentioned.
Yeah, and we're here to support them.
Yes.
You know, and I really believe in the dementia friendly, you know, and everybody knows I talk about my mom all the time, you know, my mother has severe Alzheimer's. And it's really hard, especially when it's mild to moderate and they're still out in the community and people don't understand.
Yeah.
Store clerks need to know about this, you know, postal workers, law enforcement, everybody needs to know how to deal with and how to be kind. And part of it's just being kind.
Yes, absolutely.
Part of it's just being kind. Dr. Carol Johnson is going to do the brain health and nutrition. And that's another thing we're going to talk about, right? Is nutrition.
Yes, we are going to talk about nutrition and how that affects all stages in your life, whether you're older or younger, and, you know, looking at the preventative component. That's a big trend. And quite honestly, that's something that is not easy to implement. But if we think about, you know, looking at chronic diseases or, you know, managing those components, and, you know, the cost of healthcare and how that affects, you know, our health. And so kind of looking at it from the preventative component, or, you know, even from the management, you know, chronic disease, self-management, matter of balance, all of those components. What resources do we have within our communities that we can pull together? And quite easily, we've, you know, on our staff, we've got a health and wellness coordinator that that is her mission.
Yes.
is to help manage chronic diseases. And so bringing all the partners together, how does the social factor affect, you know, the healthy component and vice versa, and bringing those two dynamics together as well.
You know, a big, you know, the buzzword is social determinants of health. You know, finally the medical community has figured out that there are social determinants of health, that all the things that you just talked about are part of that. It's not all about just medicine.
Correct.
You know, it's the social interaction, it's the ability to get out, to be healthy, to eat well. And, you know, we're going to have a pretty heavy-duty panel on malnutrition.
Yes.
And I don't think folks realize that Arizona is 15 from the bottom on malnutrition and food insecurity. And to me, that's unconscionable, that we have that bad of a malnutrition and food problem in Arizona.
I agree.
And so that'll be an interesting conversation. And I really hope that it opens folks' eyes to, you know, and it's like, oh, well, you know, look, she's heavy and she goes to the food bank, she has all the food she needs. Okay, but let's look at her lean body mass.
Mm-hmm.
You could see someone who you don't think looks malnourished, who truly is.
Absolutely. And you know, what kind of food are they eating, or what, you know, do they have the balanced diet there with the vegetables and proteins and all of those things? As you said, you could look at somebody and not know that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's going to be really a key factor in the Building Strong Communities component, to bring that advocacy to our region.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully we can band together and make a difference, because we shouldn't have people going hungry.
No.
I think we live in the United States.
I think so.
Yeah. So I just, it's just hard for me to understand that dynamic. And I've been learning and focusing on that a lot more this last year. And Beals-Luedtka will be on that panel.
Yes, he will.
And a couple other guests. So I'm excited about that conversation. And Dr. Carol Johnston will also be on that, because she's going to talk about how nutrition affects your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to feed your brain.
Yes, you do.
You know, and I didn't, you know, as I started looking into that a couple years ago, I think we had somebody on brain health. I was like, whoa, you know, your brain needs a lot of fat.
Absolutely. And I love that piece. So, you know, bringing the physicians, even physicians and
Yeah.
nurses into this component, and how the social determinants or factors, you know, if you're in the hospital, what advocacy components can they be bringing to those patients or clients as well?
We're intrinsically, I can't even say that word, interconnected, you know, and how do we strengthen those bonds between us, so that when someone's discharged from the hospital, we take it up, because then they're done at the hospital, but they're finding more and more that they have to follow through
Right.
for at least 30 days. Are they getting the right nutrition? Are they doing their medications correctly? You know, are they going back to the doctor when they need to? All those things takes a community.
It definitely does.
It takes a strong community to take care of those patients. And if they don't, I think the other thing that I want to drive home to the communities that are thinking about coming to this conference, they're like, oh, it's an aging conference. No, it's about building strong communities, but there's a cost to not doing these things.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're going to save money. There's going to be a return on your investment.
Absolutely. And again, that just goes back to us partnering together, and like you had just mentioned, from, you know, making sure that we don't leave anybody behind, or there's any gaps in that in this process. And I think that's actually a challenge that we all face, is that where can we fill those gaps? Where can we be innovative and creative? How do we utilize our resources to the best of our ability? You know, there's other community partners that we may all not know about. So tying those all together is going to be wonderful.
You know, and it's all about partnerships. You know, the Area Agency on Aging is really the service and planning organization, and we're only a piece of a puzzle.
Yeah.
We're just one piece.
Yes,
and
we
so
are.
we can't do it all. We can't do it alone. We need the communities to be on board with us. So I'm so excited about this conference.
Me too.
So there's a couple things you did different in your planning for this conference. You planned in some little different things, like the tech thing.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
So, you know, we're always at the Area Agency on Aging NACOG trying to be innovative and creative.
Yes.
And one of the things that we're doing is, and this is also part of the network component, is we're having a charging lounge, which will allow people to come in, plug in, and maybe, you know, you'll meet some new partners or network with people. Hopefully that's the case. We're also bringing in the conference app, which is an electronic way of looking at your agenda, but it also has this neat little component on it that you can, you know, you just got out of a session and all these people are talking about, oh my gosh, that was so great, or how can we implement that into our communities? And then you can do a meet and greet with a group of people that are interested in talking about that right there at the conference.
Fun.
So you can continue those conversations and develop those relationships. So we're really excited about that.
You know, and I guess that goes back to what you're saying, giving people a chance to network.
Yes.
but using technology, which is very innovative. So I'm excited about that. And I've seen the room you're going to use. Where's it going to be?
So it will be upstairs.
But where is the
at the
conference?
High Country Conference Center, October 5th and 6th.
Okay.
But it will be upstairs, and we'll have lovely refreshments and ways for you guys to charge your devices. Although we're also, want to make sure that we have an impactful experience. So taking that technology to actually meeting and greeting with people and letting that go.
So
for
when
now.
you go on and sign up, will it show you about the app?
It will.
Okay.
Yes, it
Yeah.
will. And registration for the conference is open. So we want you to go to our website and check out all the information
And
the
it is again?
speakers. regonline.com/building-strong-communities.
Okay. And again, if you have questions, you could.
Call myself and our toll-free number, which is 1-877-521-3500.
And there's 3 women that answer the phones there, and they pretty much know where Nicole and I are. So if you're looking for us too, it's a great thing to do is utilize that toll-free number, call them. But again, it's coming up. It's October 5th and 6th, and it is at the High Country Conference Center. We'll pretty much take over the entire center because we've got all the breakouts, the room. The upstairs will be for the technology room. Beautiful facility, and the food, I'm just saying.
To die for.
It's to die for. I mean,
One of the favorites.
there's breakfast served, or there's some breakfast
Breakfast.
food and a beautiful lunch
And lunch.
and snacks.
And snacks and fun times at the reception, celebrating 25 years of.
Yeah, so at the reception we'll have goodies to eat. I mean, personally, I like to do nice hors d'oeuvres so that you have plenty of protein, some veggies, whatever, and you may not even want to go eat after that because
Exactly.
we're going to make sure that you get full at the reception. And it's a lot of fun, and again, a networking opportunity. And I really want to thank you, first of all, for your work on the conference.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
I know it's so much. People have no idea. And everyone's like, oh, this was so smooth. They have no idea the work that you and your team and all the area agency and aging staff does to make it the smoothest experience possible.
Yes.
So that it's a great experience. I'm excited about it.
Me too.
Anything I'm missing?
I can't think of anything
I think we
right at the moment. I'm just really excited about this conference. I'm really excited.
All right.
Yeah.
So we hope we see you there, October 5th and 6th. Get online. Figure out how to register. It's really easy on Reg Online, Building Strong Communities. But if you have problems, all you have to do is call our toll-free number and call them and say, hey, I want to register, I'm having problems. You can use your credit card to do that online. So we've made it as easy as possible for you to come on board with us. So thank you, Nicole Kiddoo.
Thank you for having me.
Second in command for the Area Agency on Aging. She laughs at me, but it's the truth. Appreciate everything you do, and I couldn't do it without you. I'll
My
tell
pleasure.
you that right now.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us. This is Senior Moments, Successful Aging. I'll see you next time.